Hi, Vanessa Singh here. I'm going to be talking about my experience prototyping and obtaining user feedback for my app that I designed. After I completed the design and prototyping, I uploaded my prototype and I shared it with a couple of people. And some of the reviews, the feedbacks that I was able to obtain, they were actually quite interesting. One of the feedbacks of a female friend of mine, she mentioned that she would like for the first content to be displayed will be the top rated recipes. I originally had it the most rated recipes, but she mentioned that instead of being the most rated recipe, that it would be better to have the top rated, since a lot of people are more influenced to try something new if they have higher ratings, which is understandable. Another thing that she mentioned was that information, how many calories that meal has. I originally had thought of putting that in the recipes, but then I was being afraid that there was gonna be too much content where it might feel overcrowded. So I kind of thought like, well, do they really need to have a calorie measurements? Because I even looked at some of the apps that I review for the analysis, and some of them didn't have a calorie measurement for the recipes. And so I thought, well, let's not put it. But now it's funny that now I see that on the feedbacks that they actually would like to have the calories for that meal. And also that gave me an idea where, refining the content, I could also put to refine the content by calorie range, so that way for users that are more concerned on how many calories that meal has, they can look into or refine the content by the lowest calories measurements. So I think that was actually quite interesting feedback, and it gave me that idea after I read that feedback. Now, another feedback that I received from somebody else was that they mentioned that the navigation was a bit confusing. This actually, had me concern and think about what might cause this confusion for this user. So I reached out back to that person, and I asked them what did cause that confusion. They mentioned that it took them a bit of like a minute or two to understand like what each icon on the navigation meant, since they are quite unique icons. He had to click on each of them to see what do they do, what is this icon for. And I understand that that was actually my mistake, for because normally icons and navigations, a navigation bar, they have, besides the icon, they have, the word under it to let the user know what is that icon for, what is that section for. And I originally did not have that. I just had plain icons, so it is quite understandable that the user found it a bit confusing, and having to first figure out what it is before actually trying to navigate through the app. I went back into my design and I did change it. I put under recipes, shop for shopping ingredients, plan, and the favorite sections, and the account section. Here I have the prototype, where in this case the user is selecting a recipe. Either when it loads the recipe, they can either click the button that says instruction, or they can click on the clock that says 55 minutes, which is the average time that it takes to prepare that meal, and it will take them as well into the instructions. This I kind of copied from another a meal planning app that I saw, and I talked about it on the competitive analysis. And I thought it was actually quite neat, so I said, I can incorporate that into my app as well. For the plan, in the case of this prototype, the user will click on plan to schedule that recipe for a specific date and time, and select what category does that meal fall into, breakfast, lunch, dinner, snacks, etc. And the user will have an option to set a reminder as well. Once they set up that information, the user will click on add and it will populate on the calendar. For this week, the user will be able to see what meals they already have planned. And on regards to, like, for example, if the user is in the main screen and wants to see the schedule that they have planned for this week, they can click on the plan icon on the navigation. It will take them to the calendar, and therefore the user can see, oh, they have Italian pasta for lunch on October 11th, so let me see that recipe. So they will click on it and it will take them into the recipe where they can see the ingredients, the cookware, and the instructions for that recipe. I wish I could have more time to, this demonstrate it a little bit more, but this is what I have for this week assignment. My name is Vanessa. Thank you for watching.